Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is the first video of the water underfloor heating project in my kitchen diner. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel and welcome to my renovation kitchen. This is exactly where the project's going to be actually. This is the biggest project I've ever undertaken and it's definitely the biggest one I've ever put on YouTube. Let me explain what the project is and hopefully this will be useful for you if you ever plan to put in water underfloor heating in your home. So, like I said, I'm in my kitchen and I've got 3 different types of floor in here. The one that I'm stood on is the new concrete floor that I laid in the extension just 2 years ago. And yes, I'm planning to rip it up, but that's because I want to install a traditional water underfloor heating. And at the time, that wasn't on the scope of the project, so I didn't lay the correct floor type. I've got an old concrete floor, which is essentially just dirt, followed by a slab of concrete on top. There's no insulation there and it's not ideal for underfloor heating. And then behind me, I've got a suspended wooden floor. Again, not ideal for water underfloor heating. So in order for me to make this a really efficient system, I've got to rip up all the floors and do a whole new floor, specifically designed for water underfloor heating. So let me just explain what that's going to look like. We're going to have 150ml of MOT1 wackered, and that's going to be nice and level, but we're going to have a 50ml building sand layer on top of that. And the reason why we do that is because we're going to put visqueen on top, and we don't want the visqueen, which is our DPC layer, to be punctured by the aggregate, the MOT1 underneath. And then once we've got the visqueen, once we've got the sand, the visqueen, we're then going to pour 100ml concrete slab in C25 concrete. That'll give me a solid base to work from. At that point, I'm going to be laying in all my amenities for the island, like water and electric and so on. And then, that's within the insulation. And then once the insulation's down, it's time to put in the water underfloor heating. We clip that directly onto the insulation and then pour a screed layer of between 40 and 60ml on top. Now, how thick I do that layer depends on how high I want the floor height to be. I'm aiming for it to be the exact same height as the other floors in the house because I'm only putting this floor in just this one room, which is the kitchen diner. So let's get to it. As you can see, we've already been hard at work ripping up the floor behind me. We had I'm getting complaints from the workers that I'm not actually working enough because I'm filming all the time. But I've got to show what we've been doing. So we did have a suspended floor in here, and that's all been removed. We're starting to remove the brickwork that was around the fireplace. And we had some brickwork around here as well that this suspended floor was sat on. It's going really well. It's demolition day number 1 and we've got 2 days to remove all of the materials that we don't want in here because obviously we're pouring a new floor and that means we've got to build a whole new sub base for the floor as well. So like I said, it's going really well. I haven't filmed the very start, unfortunately, which was removing the kitchen. All of that wall is now free of any units, and it's just left with pipe work and electrics. guys, we're basically at the end of the first day on the underfloor heating project, and I tell you what, it's been one hell of a day. It's been very dusty, lots of heavy work, but let me just show you what I've been up to and what my dad and uncle have helped me with as well. So this is what we've been working on. As you can see, we've completely removed the suspended floor, which was just here, and because it was a suspended floor, it had lots of like little brick walls built up so that the joists could sit on to give it extra support. We've also removed those, and we've got those materials in the skip. What we're left with is a big hollow in the floor, and as you can see, I've got these drain pipes here, these underground pipes, and as you can see, there's some that just come out there from underneath this concrete floor slab, and that is ventilation for what was this suspended floor. Because we're removing that, I'm going to have to connect these pipes up and take it through that wall into the living room, which is going to stay a suspended floor. So we're only pouring a concrete floor in the kitchen for the water underfloor heating. And because we're pouring a concrete floor, we're going to have to get rid of all of these copper pipes as well. I don't want any pipes going into the floor. So we're going to have to find a way. That's the in and the out right there from the boiler. They don't go to any radiators before they get to this point. So that's quite good, because I'm going to have the manifold for the water underfloor heating in that space right there. So I'm going to take those into what will be a stud wall. There's going to be a manifold, and I'm going to take these pipes that go off to the radiator in the living room up the wall and then into this stud wall, so I can connect it all up. We've removed all of the units. That wall is now being cleaned off of any plaster, so that's all good. All that rubble is in the skip, and really the last thing to do is take up these 3 floors just here, well, these 2 floors, and I'll explain a little bit about that as well. So we've got a concrete floor with dirt underneath. That's 100 mil of concrete, and then underneath there is just dirt. So all of that area there will just be dug out and thrown in the skip. This over here is a different story. This is what I laid before. It's 100 mil concrete with insulation all the way down to there, and below that it's just hardcore, which we're going to keep anyway. So it's all coming together. That's the end of day 1. Hey guys, it's the morning. The time I'm filming this is about 9 AM. It's the start of day 2, and I've come back to look at where we left it last night and to think about all of the things that I'm going to be doing today. There's a lot to do today, and I'll explain why it has to be done today. It's because I've got a big skip on the drive and there's no more room for anything else, and I've got lots of materials arriving tomorrow. So that's like your MOT, the sand, the visqueen, everything that's going to go into the floor other than the actual concrete slab itself is arriving tomorrow. So I've got to make sure that we're in a position where we can start getting some of those materials in, and we don't need to remove any more out of here. So I'm going to crack on. Hopefully I remember to film as I go through today, but you do get into the zone and it's difficult to stop. So I'll try and get some footage, and hopefully we'll have nothing left in here, no floor at all by the end of the day. guys, at the time of filming this, it's 4:15 and it's been a long day. And you can probably see it in my face. I've got the mask lines on the sides of my face as well. But we've done a lot of work to this subfloor. So I'll show you what I've been doing. So this is where we currently are. We've done all of that removal of the old kitchen floor, which was just concrete and clay. We've removed all of the suspended floor, all of the wood. We've even broken into the chimney and removed all of the bricks that give it that old shape that it had, and just really opened it up because the new concrete is going to go into the chimney. We've started putting some of the finer rubble onto the base because we're only going to be filling that with MOT anyway. So that's just basically old bricks, and then we're just going to fill it up with another probably 50 to 80 mil of MOT on top of the highest points of this bits of rubble. Everything else will just compact in between. I'm going to be putting pea shingle around these pipes so that they can't be damaged when we whack the MOT down. Obviously the MOT is going to flow over to here as well. This original floor, we're going to leave the DPM stuck into the wall. We're just going to cut about 300 mil in from the edges. We're going to rake this across the floor because underneath here is just MOT and sand, and then we should be ready to have a perfectly level floor with DPM. At the time of filming this, it's 9 AM and it's the start of day 3 on the water underfloor heating project. So as you know, we've been removing lots of material out of the kitchen, and today is all about putting the right materials back in. The right materials start with MOT. We're roughly going to have about 150 mil of MOT, which is then going to be whackered down with a whacker plate. It's then going to have a sand blinding, which is just building sand of about 50 mil, so that when we put the DPM on top, it won't pierce, the MOT won't pierce the DPM layer on top. And then on Friday, all being well, we'll have the concrete floor pumped in, and we'll level it off, and then we'll have a solid base to work from for what will be the underfloor heating from that point. So I'll just show you where we are at the start of day 3. So all that's been removed. We've got our pipes in, everything's ready. The only thing that we have that needs to be addressed is all of this screen. I need to remove some of this because that was from the original concrete floor. I'm not going to remove too much because I want to keep the upstands that go into the block work. And then I'm going to scrape this all level so we get our new level for our floor below. There's a lot of work to do today, but I'm feeling confident. Typically I set up my laser level pole there, but the laser level itself has run out of battery. So we're doing it the old-fashioned way, and I've got a piece of timber which is nice and straight from the floor over there, which is the datum for the finished floor height. So I've got this straight piece of timber on top, and then we've built up like bricks here and some little tiles that we chipped off the kitchen floor to give us the height of what we need the finished floor to be here in the room. And we're doing that because we want to measure that distance there to see how much space we've got between each layer. We're currently at the stage of putting in the MOT1, so we don't want to go too high with the MOT1 because it'll affect everything else above. So that's why we've done this. If we had the laser level, we'd just be able to shoot a laser all the way around and then just measure down from the wall, which is what we will be doing later once the battery's charged. So we've been filling out in the floor in MOT 1. This looks a bit more sandy because that's where we originally had sand, but it's all been scraped. It's all been filled and scraped level. We've been using this piece of timber that's nice and flat with the spirit level on top to get it level, but I've also been walking around the room with my laser level. So I simply set the height on here to align with this mark over here on the wall that I drew earlier. And then I walk around the room and I've set it up in different places just to see how far from that mark we are. And that's the furthest distance we've got from that mark all over the room. So I'd say this MOT flooring, this MOT subfloor is extremely level, which is great because now we're ready to whacker it and get the sand in place. At the time of filming this, it's 2 o'clock on Wednesday, and we've done so much to the floor. Honestly, it's at this point, you know, you're starting to see the finish line, because essentially all I've got left to do is put down the sand, blinding sand over the top of this MOT and put the membrane down on top, which isn't really that labour intensive work compared to what we've already been doing. And to be honest, I thought I was going to have to work all day tomorrow, all day Thursday tomorrow, but I don't actually. I don't think I will, so I can have a bit of a rest day before Friday when all the concrete comes, which will be amazing. So I can go into the weekend safe in the knowledge that I'm ready to go with the underfloor heating project, because all I need to do is put down the insulation on top of that new concrete floor. See you then. The MOT is in and all whackered flat. So now we're on to the next stage, which is the sand. But before we do that, I want to make sure that we've got the right amount of height between the subfloor MOT and what will be the finished height of the floor. So I've taken that from our datum over there and I've built it up on this side with some bricks and some tile slates, so that now we can take an accurate measure of the level. So if I put that level on top of there, that tells us that we've got, that's perfectly level. And then we just need to take a measurement from the bottom of this piece of timber, and that is measuring at 30.5, which is perfect for our height build-up of the floor. As you remember, we've already got the MOT in, but we need 50 mil of sand. We need 100 of concrete, 100 of insulation, and then the rest screed. So now to put the sand in. At the time of filming this video, it's about 4:30 in the afternoon, and we have finally got the layer of blinding sand down. It's at roughly 50 mil thick and it's been whackered. So tomorrow it's just really a tidying up day and then putting the DPM sheets down. The DPM sheets are what give you that vapor barrier between the the subfloor and the concrete base below. So I'll show you what I've been up to. As you can see, this is just building sand and it's all been really whackered down, so it's really sturdy with that whacker there. I actually hired that whacker for £38. Today I just went and picked it up. Very simple to get hold of one of them. So we're all set to put the visqueen down next.